Welcome everyone, it's Romero17 and today we're going with strike ranges for UFC 4. Today we're going to go over the stationary ranges, so this will not necessarily feature stepping forward with strikes. This isn't going to feature the lunging strikes. Those will come in a separate video, so that way you guys don't get overloaded with a bunch of information. Now for every single camera angle, there's a different range. So rather than just doing my preferred angle, which is classic, and then showing you guys strike ranges from there, I decided let me just go into each single camera angle and show you guys what it's going to look like when you strike and what's going to be the best angle for the choice of strike that you use. So one key thing here, I have the damage indicator on. The reason I have this thing on is to show you which is a proper range strike. So if I throw like a jab or a body kick in improper range, as you can see there, I'm only doing half as much damage, and the game is going to tell me that my damage percent is like at least 50% or lower. As you can see, my head kicks, my body punches, my body kicks, excuse me, they're not exactly the highest amount of damage. So it's very important that you understand where is the proper range to throw the best strikes so you can maximize the potential on your strike and you can finish the fight as soon as possible. So I'm going to start off with the elbow and knee range. This is the preferred range for knees, elbows, spinning elbows, right up here, close as hell, as close as the game can let you be. One key thing to know that is if you fire off a rear knee, you're not going to be able to land with the follow-up elbow unless you go forward with that elbow. It's going to push them back into jab range, so keep that in mind. So unless I go forward with that elbow, I'm not going to be able to follow up elbow. So with the hooks and uppercuts, this is their best range. See here, this is where I can get the maximum potential damage percent for my strike. I generally want to be hitting around 95% or above. That's usually the preferred best case. Obviously stamina is going to play a factor in other portions of the fight. Also with this range, this is also the best range to land the body hooks and body uppercuts. You're not going to land those strikes in jab range. You'll be reaching from too far out and you'll be vulnerable to getting struck. So this is your preferred range to land those body strikes. When it comes to the jabs and crosses, keep in mind all of these ranges, other than like hook and uppercut, they give you an advantage against other certain strikes. Now when you go for like a body jab or a body straight, you got to make sure that you don't hold the triangle button and you don't hold square, otherwise you're going to shoot for a takedown. So it's very important that you tap. But notice, if my opponent Volkanovski were to try and throw a hook here, he's not going to touch me if he's throwing a stationary hook. I'm keeping him at the end of my range, and being able to understand that and master that is going to help you tremendously. I'm also showing you from jab range, you can also land these overhands, and this is the best way to get the most damage from them. If you throw them from a little bit too close, it's only gonna net about 70% damage. No, not as much as you would want. You want to maximize all of your strikes, get the best damage possible. And this tight camera angle is kind of weird. I don't know, whoever plays with this, man, I give props to you because it's kind of weird. One thing I do like is that it kind of almost tells you where you are based on how close the camera gets. Like there, I see that Volkanovski's, I guess like his calf is exposed in the camera, so it's telling me that I'm in kicking range. So you can see there by the strike, the damage percent for the leg kicks landed. And there, it's going to take a lot less leg kicks, a lot less work for me to get my opponent out of there. Here with the head kicks, I got 100% damage percent. Kicking range, leg kick range is the same as kicking range, you know. I want to land my body kicks from here. I want to land my body teeps from here, my head kicks. The range where my opponent cannot hit me, but I can hit them and I can capitalize. Key little note here, when it comes to land the body kicks, notice the strike damage has exceeded 21.3. That's supposed to be my maximum damage. The reason for that is that the open side of the body has liver vulnerability, so there's going to be an added bonus of damage when you land a specific strike on the open side of the body. So if it's orthodox versus orthodox and I land a lead body kick, I'm going to get that little bit of extra damage when I'm in proper range. If it's southpaw versus orthodox, I'll also get that extra damage. Here I'm showing you with the body spin kick. You can throw it in kicking range or punching range. The only risk is that if you throw this in punching range, you run the risk of getting hit by uppercuts or hooks. So please be careful. So, heading into medium camera angle to change it up in comparison to UFC 3. Right here, as you can see, when you get this close to your opponent, this is the ideal range for your hooks and your uppercuts. So you don't necessarily want to be throwing them when you're stepping out far here. You want to get close, up nasty and personal, and this would be the best range for you to deal damage with these strikes with the medium camera angle. Here, it's a little bit hard to see because you're kind of a little bit far off from the camera, but you can notice this is the best range for body strikes. I'm getting the best amount of damage. See right there, I'm a little bit too far out, and the body uppercut's not going to land, so I got to step in a little bit closer, and if I want to plant and rip my shots to the body, this is the preferred range for me to land these strikes. I've been using the left stick a lot. It kind of automatically moves you back into the range I need to be in. So in this case, it moved me back into jab range. There I'm a little bit too far. Step right back in there. Best range for the jab. Connor's not going to be able to hit me with his hook from here unless he takes a forward step. And then we're going to cover that in another video. Right there. And again, when it comes to doing your body attacks, like the body crosses and the body jabs, do not hold triangle. Do not hold square. You're going to end up shooting a takedown. It's very important that you tap. If you hold, you're going to shoot a takedown. So make sure that you're tapping, and that way you'll be able to mix it straight up. You're not going to accidentally shoot a takedown and be like, oh no, I tried to go to the body and now I shot. He sprawled on me, now he's beating on my body. Just relax. The game will treat you nice as long as you do the right things. So now we're here in kicking range. Here, notice it's a little bit more pronounced here in the medium camera angle. But as you can see, based on the range, Connor cannot touch me here with his hooks or his punches if he's trying to throw them planted. And that body teep and these leg kicks are good to intercept somebody coming forward into this range. This is how I usually land my leg kicks. If I see somebody trying to punch into range and they're a little bit coming from too far out, I'm going to get the best level of vulnerability on their leg, and I'm going to get a lot of long-term damage. Here I'm showing you the body spin kick again. And again, with the body kicks, you can see right there that liver vulnerability gives me a +2, which does a lot more than you guys think when it comes to the damage potential. And here I'm in head kicking range as well. Remember, kick range is leg, body, head. Best range to be so you can maximize the potential of your strikes. Next up is the wide camera angle. I feel like the wide camera angle is probably the most aesthetically pleasing one. Gives you that cinematic feel when you look at the fighters, but it's also probably the hardest one to figure out what's exactly what. Like obviously up close here, it's hooks, upper knees, and elbow range. But when you try to go a little bit farther out, it's definitely a lot tougher. So here, body hooks, uppercuts range, you know, body uppers, body hooks. This is the preferred range right here. Look how close the feet are, right? When I step back, it's going to be very subtle step back with the left stick, and I'm going to put myself in jab range so I can maximize the potential. It's definitely harder on the wide camera angle, but once you get used to it, this is going to help you, especially if you're trying to try to fight on the outside or you're trying to pick somebody apart. Right here, working the body jabs, the body crosses, out of range for my opponent's strikes. If they go forward, that's a different story, and we'll cover that in the next video, I promise you. Alright, now we're going right there, that body straight's not going to land. But we're in kicking range now, and here I want to throw my kicks. You see there, 100% damage percent. Make sure that when you go into practice mode, you can go into learn on the menu board, and when you click on learn, this is what's going to take you to practice mode and have these damage percents on so you can know where you are and if you're timing your strikes at the proper range as intended. But you guys get the gist of it, right? If I'm in this specific range, this is the best range for this specific strike. This is how I want to capitalize. Obviously, if you throw strikes in improper range, it's going to take a longer time for your opponent to get knocked out. It's going to take you're throwing a lot of nothing. So you got to get comfortable with your ranges. Know where you are when you input that button. In the worst case scenario, if you think you're going to miss, press R2 to feint so you don't throw the strike. This here's my favorite camera angle. This is the classic camera angle, and I kind of feel like the camera zooms in the right amount to kind of tell you where you are, if you kind of catch my drift here. So classic camera angle, it's as close as it can get, but it shows you where you are almost to the best of its ability. That's what I feel like. I feel like this camera angle and maybe wide is probably like probably the best two camera angles for this game. So I'm gonna get up close here. Obviously, as clear as it can be. This is hook, upper, knee, elbow range if I'm using the classic camera angle. Only issue I have with the classic camera angle is that it kind of zooms a little bit too fast. But other than that, it's a pretty solid angle, and it's the one that I use a lot. Here's the body hooks and uppercuts to the body. This is the preferred range for that. You see, I'm very close. I'm extremely close, and I'm maximizing my damage potential on those strikes, and I'm making sure that I get the most out of these strikes in the classic camera angle. Right here, doing the jab straight. Notice the damage percent. It's a little bit subtle. It's more subtle here when trying to figure out where jab range is to get the best amount of damage off of your strike. But it's extreme. But once you understand it here in the classic camera angle, you'll be able to utilize it the same way I do when I use Jose Aldo or TJ or Dominic Cruz and I poke at people. Here we're in kicking range. I just took another step back, and as you can see here by the strike damage, maximizing the damage here. There's that body kick. Notice I land to the open side and I get that extra bonus liver vulnerability. added by that +2 to the strike damage. There's head kick. And honestly, that's pretty much it. Like that's pretty much all it is when it comes to the camera angles and where all the ranges work. How this is gonna help you with your gameplay. If you have somebody that's throwing strikes out of range and you understand where you are and they clearly don't know where they are, that's going to help you not only with your counter striking but just your overall timing in general. Like if I have somebody that's just trying to come forward blitzing me with 1-2-1-2 and they're coming from a million miles away from the octagon and I just keep poking at them, right? Like I'll have Frankie over here try to throw 1-2 1-2 1-2 and I just keep poking and their short-term stamina is recovering and they're just trying to punch the air. They're giving the oxygen a tough fight, but they're not doing anything. Practice makes perfect. Once you guys understand your ranges, you guys are going to be in for a good time playing this game. From Arrow17, this is the Strike Ranges video stationary. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you already haven't, have a great day. I'm out of here.